Peace. Salute. Salute everyone. Infinite blessings, peace and blessings. Um, just rearranging my little stuff here, which I should have done, but I think we're good. Infinite blessings to the good family. I hope that everybody is doing well as I'm just moving my little stuff around here. But salute to everybody. I'm appreciative, right, for another opportunity to chat and discuss some good old wonderful boxing talk that we love. Okay. Quite an interesting bit of discussion that I have for us today to kind of tap into, peel back the layers of, and divulge a little bit, as I like to do with you guys. So definitely extending warmth, extending blessings and salutations to the good family as you guys make your way in. Interesting bit of details that have been unfolding these past couple of days, and I definitely wanted to get your take and your perspectives on it. Let me know if everything is audible for you guys. I'm definitely looking good as far as my settings are concerned, but definitely want to make sure that we are coming through. Everything is coherent. You guys can hear me. So put some nines in the chat if you guys are good to go. If I'm good to go, I mean, if we get on the green light, all right, give me some confirmation on that. Peace and love to everybody. Infinite blessings. And of course, we're going to do things the right way with some salutations to the good family as you guys make your way through here. Let's see who we got in the building. Let's see who we got on deck, you guys, right? Let's see. Oh my goodness, let me make my screen bright. My beautiful sis is in the building, first on deck with the love and that wonderful magnanimous energy that she has. Convos with Cammy Cam is in the building. She says, my beautiful sis, sending peace, love, and light your way. And she gave me her hearts and her nines everywhere. Thank you, beautiful sis. It's so lovely to see you. Right? I hope that you have been having a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Okay? And I'm sending you nothing but warmth, nothing but hugs and radiance your way. You already know what it is, beautiful sis. Lovely to see you. We got the King John Martin, 10 toes and nothing less, as per usual, good family. He got all of his nines on deck today. Hello. I see the King John up in here. He says, good evening and salute, sweet queen, sugar-free Mars. I am ready for some more of the soul food / truth that you bring to these boxing streets. Okay, queen of the truth tellers. Thank you so much, King John Martin. I appreciate your energy. I appreciate your vibrance. All of that just permeated and radiated through the screen right to me, King. Thank you so much, and I'm sending it right back to you twofold. Beloved brother, thank you so much for joining this good Sunday, carving out some time as you do. I really, really, really am appreciative of you, right? And that abundant energy that you bring. Lovely to see you. Okay, let's see who else we got up in here. We got the King, aka my twin. Okay, Daryl Anderson in the building. He says salute to the beautiful queen, aka my twin, sugar free, right? Salute to the rest of the kings and the queens in the chat. Big blessings, big energy in the building, and I'm sending it to you twofold as well, King. Infinite love and peace to you. I hope that all is well on your side, that all is well with you and yours. Right? Always ecstatic to see my twin in the building with that wonderful energy. Okay. We have, who is this? Denetric Banner? Okay. He says, new member. Be hearing you on Champside. Oh, thank you so much. Nice to see you. I'm very, very appreciative of your presence this good Sunday, right? And definitely the King Champside is my brother. Okay. Champside is like somebody that I highly, deeply respect, been rocking with that king for I don't even know how long, something like a decade now, right? But I've only begun going on his page, I want to say of the past, how long has it been? Maybe 2-3 years, something like that I have been speaking on his platform. But infinite blessings to you, and definitely big love, big energy to the King Champside. I'm definitely appreciative to have you. Thank you so much. We got the King CB D in the, I'm sorry, C, I always say that. I always get the D and the B. CDB. Did I say that correctly? I hope I did the first time. Salute to the king, CDB in the building. Always lovely to have you and lovely to see the king, right? Always big stepping as well with that wonderful energy that I love. And the twin, here he go. Thank you, twin. My twin is right on time. As per usual, get them nines up if everything is audible. If y'all ready for some cooking, some wonderful discussion, right? Salute to my twin. Oh my goodness. Speaking of big stepping, you guys know I start to blushing. I get to blushing. Child, the king, BFTB, is in the building, AKA my beautiful, beautiful king. Big stepping with the energy. He says, salute, goddess. Infinite love I'm sending to you, king. You already know what it is. The king BF showing some love, and he's showing love to everybody up in here. That's right. Okay, we have the king Nata in the building. Salute to the king Nata. Lovely to see you again. I hope that everything has been well with you, right? Oh my goodness, hold on. We got the king Patrice, one of my absolute favorites, you guys. Okay, salute to the king Patrice. I feel like I haven't seen you in a little bit. Hopefully everything has been well on your end with you and your endeavors and your family and so forth, etc. Right? Infinite blessings I'm extended to the king Patrice, as always. Ain't nothing new, right? He says, Key and Core both ducked the fade. That's something their fans must confess. Heard a what? Chiropractor. Heard a chiropractor refuse them service the other day because both them cowards were spineless. Damn. Damn, so the chiropractor, denied them entry because the spines was missing? Damn, King Patrice. Thank you so much for that, for the bar and the Sunday psalm, okay, that you always bring when you are stepping through here, King. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much for that bar, that wisdom, okay, and the psalm, as I call them, right? Big stepping with the energy. Salute to you, King Patrice. Lovely to have you and to see you, right? I see my family giving salutations to each other. Who else we got up in here? Before we begin, we got the King Mo in the building. Salute to the King Mo. I hope that you have been well. He says, salute to the Queen, salute to the chat. Infinite blessings, King Mo. Lovely to see you and lovely to have you. Oh my goodness, speaking of one of my faves, we got the King Slim Hussein in the building, who says, the lovely sugar-free Mars and chat, blessings. Infinite blessings to the King Slim. Lovely to see you as always, King. You already know what it is. Oh, did I just go all the way down by mistake? Hold on. Let me scroll back up, y'all. Hold on, because I like to go in order to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Salute to Tix941 in the building. He says, peace to the goddess Sugar Free. Infinite blessings to you, King. Tix, I appreciate you. Lovely to see you. We got the King, the wonderful 4-ounce sniper, rejoining us today. Lovely to have you in the building, King. Thank you so much. My twin, okay, he gave me my 9, so we are good to go. Oh my goodness, we got the Sensei in the building, Stormy B-Man. Infinite blessings to the Sensei. You already know what it is, King. I see the King Devo in the building as well. Peace and infinite love to you, King. Lovely to see you. Right? We have MuckTube University in the building. He says, peace, sugar free, keep it going. I'm on the job, King. You know how I'm stepping. Thank you so much for carving out some time to spend with us here, right? Oh my goodness, the King Freedom, aka my lovely counterpart, is in the building. Infinite blessings to the King Freedom, right? Lovely to see you. I think I saw you live today, but I was like, working on some things. So I think I may have peeped that you were live, but I didn't get a chance to click into what it is that you were doing. I haven't been to a live of yours in some time, King, but I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for, your cooking. Infinite blessings to you. I miss being on your side with your lives. Hope that all is well with you and your lovely family, right? Oh my goodness, the great Mike is in the building. Salute to the great Mike, one of my original hitters and steppers is in the building, brothers and sisters. He says, salute, sugar free, and chat. Blessings to the great Mike. Big, big love to the great Mike. Always happy to have you. We have I Am Q in the building. Salute to the King, I Am Q. Blessings to you. Thank you so much. I'm so appreciative to see you guys. Oh my goodness, we got some loving up in the chat, you guys, early on. And of course, it's from my counterpart. Who else would it be? 10 toes with the energy and the generosity up in here. What did the lovely counterpart say? He says, my non-ether goddess and counterpart. Okay. He says, looking forward to that sugar being laid upon us this day. Well, me really, but I guess everyone deserves some love. You are so, so sweet and adorable. Thank you so much, King Freedom. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right. And I'm sending blessings to you as always. I definitely appreciate the support, King. Thank you so much for that sweetness and that wonderful energy with those words. I appreciate you, King. Oh my goodness, we got the King Jut in the building. Hey, speaking of one of my absolute favorites, the King Jut, you guys. Infinite blessings to the King Jut. Happy Sunday, lovely to see you. I hope you had a wonderful weekend, right? Sending and extending blessings to the King Jut, as always. One of my absolute favorites. Oh my goodness, we got the Queen, Mama Love, Tequila Fields herself in the building. Speaking of favorites, brothers and sisters, y'all know I don't play about my damn Mama Love. Okay, she does not have that name for no reason, brothers and sisters. This woman is beautiful, she's magnanimous, she's radiant, she's wonderful and effulgent and every other beautiful synonym I can think of. Supportive and just motherly and wonderful. So lovely to see this woman walk through here from week to week. Salute to my Mama Love. She says, my beautiful child of love, the warrior queen, peace and love. Oh my goodness. Now, you see why I always put sugar all over this woman? Okay, yes, I love up on the Mama Love every time because she is absolutely amazing, you guys. As you guys know, you guys know that about the Queen Mama Love, Tequila Fields. Oh my goodness. Infinite blessings to my big bro, the Druth, the King Drew Titan himself up in here. Big stepping, ladies and gentlemen. Salute to the Druth. I hope that all is well with you and yours, King. Always happy to see you. Hold on. Hold on, y'all. We got some more loving early. We didn't even get to cooking yet, and we got some major support coming through. I appreciate that, and it's from the King Mucktube. He says, just adding color to the chat. You heard? Yes, I hear you loud and clear, King. Thank you so much for the support. It's definitely much, much appreciated. I definitely appreciate it, King. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm just scrolling through here to see if I see some salutations and stuff. The Mama Love. Hey, Mama Love. She's so cute. Okay, let's Twin, you right. You absolutely right. And we're not even going to elaborate, okay, because you and I already know what that is, King. And you are absolutely correct, sir. Right? Okay? Official. You know what I mean? But, keep that on a, you know what I'm saying? Keep that on a hush. Salute to my twin. Oh my goodness, we got the King Scythe that just walked up in here. Salute. Infinite blessings, infinite peace to the King Scythe. Hold on, y'all. I see some people rolling up through here. I was just about to begin, and they said, excuse me, goddess, not before I step up in here. You ain't gonna bypass me. Let's see who else came up in here. Oh my goodness, the Empress Emma is in the building. The beautiful Empress has exalted our space with her presence and her energy, ladies and gentlemen. She says, endless abundance to the honorable Sister Sugar-Free Mars with her hearts and her nines. Come on, Empress. Okay. Yes. This is why she is called the Empress when she is over here in this space. Infinite blessings, infinite love, big hugs, and infinite peace I'm sending to you, beautiful Empress Emma. Thank you so much for gracing the space. Lovely to have you. I hope that everything is well on your side. Who else came up in here? Oh my goodness, you guys. He ain't gonna just walk up in here like I didn't. I wasn't gonna see that. The King and the Coach himself, ladies and gentlemen, Coach Hudson, aka Coach of the Truth Tellers. Brothers and sisters, one of my absolute favorite people on YouTube. Infinite blessings to my good brother, the King and the Coach Hudson. I hope that everything is radiant on your side, King. Lovely to see you. Lovely to have you. Okay, I saw some videos of yours. What's today? Sunday? I think that was Friday evening, right? I meant to share it, but I forgot. But you was absolutely in the kitchen with your foot all up in the pot. Okay, as you tend to do all the time, so that I will, ensure that I shared the video that I watched, right? And I will definitely go back and watch if you put out anything between that time and now. Salute to the King and the Coach Hudson. You guys make sure that you go subscribe to his channel, brothers and sisters. You know what it is. Y'all want some real cooking? Definitely go subscribe to my brother. Definitely go subscribe to the King Freedom's March. Definitely, most certainly make sure that you go subscribe to my beautiful sis, Convos with Cam. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on. There she goes right there, ladies and gentlemen. Please get yourself subscribed to my beautiful people, my beautiful family that do this thing. I already know everybody up in the yard is subscribed to the King BF, but you already know what it is. Make sure that you share his content, okay? And I'm actually going to use one of my beautiful King's videos as a form of reference, because he dropped, as he always does, some phenomenal research in one of his videos that he did over the week that I wanted to share an excerpt from. I'm sure all of my good family here watched it. If you didn't, excuse me, let's not waste time, all right? Because the work that he put in this particular source that I'm going to reference a little bit later is absolutely imperative to every point of and every angle of boxing discourse surrounding Keyshawn Davis, and just, you know, the idea and concept that we're going to be touching on today, which is money and so forth, the concepts around this and people's perspectives about purse bids and whatever else that there is, right? So definitely stay tuned for that, and infinite love to my beautiful King for allowing me to take an excerpt from his presentation to use today. Oh my goodness, we got the King Roll Tide, aka the Tide, aka King Tide. Okay, as I refer to him, salute to the King Tide. I see your roses, your nines, infinite peace, infinite energy to the King Tide in the building. I see you, King. Thank you so much for joining. Now, hold on. Let me take a sip of water, you guys, and get prepared. Now, there's been an interesting bit of details that have been unfolding for us, in these boxing streets, as we know, especially now that we are, I guess, what we can say, in the aftermath of the insidious ducking, the treacherous ducking, the blatant, unabashed, spineless ducking that we unfortunately had to witness as boxing fans, beautiful people. So that now we are in the aftermath of that, and in viewing the terrain, I think that a lot of things have been quite exposed. And I think that what's interesting about DHP that tends to happen with him is that, I mean, there's a lot of things, right? But at least in my purview right now, one of the things that I couldn't help but notice is how DHP always seems to inadvertently bring things to light. And when I say inadvertently, I mean that it's never a direct reaction or response or causation that he is after, that he is angling or motioning for. It's always by way of, it's an after effect of his movements, that these occurrences and that the causation is able to be seen, or the effect of the causation is had. You get what I'm saying? What DHP does is just go on about his day. He goes on about his day. He works his ass off, right? He is, with his head down in the gym, in the lab, perfecting the craft, looking to further build upon his successes and his goal, which is the ultimate goal of legacy, right? That's always what he is geared toward, right? And the path is not always straight for this beautiful brother, as we know, right? Lots of curvatures, lots of ups and downs, peaks and valleys, so forth, etc. But that he stays the course as best he can, because he does have an end goal in mind, right? And it just so happens that while he is on the path, while he is en route to solidifying and creating, his personal vision for the attainment of the legacy that he got into the sport for, that he had built his passion around, while he is in pursuit of that, or en route to accomplishing these things little by little, step by step, what he tends to do is shine a light on, and I've said this in previous discussions, if you guys recall. He tends to shine a light on by way of just being himself now, doing his own thing and setting out and embarking on his own path. He tends to shine a light on the surrounding elements within boxing that are not on his type of time, that don't necessarily have these levels of adamance or uprightness or clarity about themselves, or people who are not necessarily as goal oriented, or maybe perhaps not as motivated as we had previously perceived them to be, right? So that he seems to, by way of his own virtue, he tends to expose the lack of virtue within the people that we have long considered to be virtuous. Do you guys get what I'm saying? As far as their boxing prowess, as far as their needs and their desires for uprightness in this particular sport, he tends to expose that, and he's just doing what he wants. He's minding his own. He's on inside. He's doing. He's living. He's training, right? But because his moves are, I mean, you tell me what you think. To me, because his moves are so clean. Do you get what I mean? Because his moves are so clean and they are not muddled or soiled or tainted in a lot of these things that these people find themselves fancying these days, i.e. needing to be in the limelight, i.e. needing to have the first and last word, i.e. needing, or desiring or hungry for a click and a view, such that you will do anything for the gram type of mentality, because he is antithetical to that as far as his energy and his reason. He tends to, because it is so clean, he tends to expose a lot of the dirt and folly and maybe even counterfeit practices or standards that other people practices, or, like I said in the title, moreover and more importantly to me, is a spinelessness, ladies and gentlemen. That's absolutely what this man is inadvertently exposing. And it really is unique to Devin. I mean, we see all measures and manners of duckery at all times and in all ways, and throughout the divisions, I guess, we could account for instances where we have witnessed levels of ducking, right? It happens, brothers and sisters. I'm not saying that I live on some fanciful mountain somewhere surrounded by lilies and roses and, just in my own la-la land. I'm a boxing fan, and therefore I know, what is considered the good and the ugly of boxing, right? Because I've been watching it for a long time, right? And I'm aware of these stories because I'm invested in these particular fighters or whatever have you. But the fact that Devin has a unique place because of his placement within the sport being so unique, he is uniquely susceptible to a particular level of backlash and what do I want to say? An outpouring of a particular type of energy, or a level of detraction, levels of being ousted, outcasted, levels of evasion that is totally unique to him. Not that he's the only person being ducked in boxing, brothers and sisters, but that the grain and the strand of ducking and evasion that this young, beautiful prince has to deal with is totally unique from what anybody else has to deal with, right? Everybody has to deal with ducking, but it varies. It varies whenever there is an involvement of DHP, and my good family already knows what I'm talking about. I don't think I have to explicate any further, right? Because you guys get the point. So that things that seem commonplace as a result of his unique position, things that are supposed to be commonplace within boxing, things that are supposed to be, found to be a normalcy in boxing, like, I don't know, fighting for a prize. You know what I mean? Wanting to solidify big fights, wanting to exercise one's own prowess and merit and valor alongside other elite fighters. These basic ass attributes that we could all run the gamut on, that boxing is supposed to exemplify and stand on, these basic principles become, I don't know, anomalous? They become shrouded in ambiguity when we are talking about DHP. Suddenly things that are supposed to be basic and fundamental, brothers and sisters, become extremely vague. People want to start mystifying common sense. Right? There's a need to distort, reframe things that are supposed to be no question, that are supposed to be inherent, things that we know to be the case. Right? And so I've been dealing with that because I was under the impression, for example, since I brought up the prize fighting, ladies and gentlemen, I was under, you tell me if I'm tripping. You tell me if I'm tripping, ladies and gentlemen. Because I don't think I'm mincing my words when I say that the things that are so basic and fundamental to boxing are absolutely being skewed today, particularly as it pertains to DHP. That is not me being hyperbolic at all. I was absolutely under the notion and assumption and opinion that boxing is generally highly synonymous with, highly considered to be, and highly regarded as prize fighting, brothers and sisters. Am I bugging, or is that what it is? Is boxing not highly synonymous with the term prize fighting? Right? Is boxing not defined by that term, prize fighting? Boxing is prize fighting. This is prize fighting, so forth, etc. We hear it all the time, so much so that they are in tandem. You cannot say boxing without saying a prize fighter, right? Because I was definitely under the impression that this is what this was. And not only is it called prize fighting, but that the prize that one amasses, in addition to accolades, in addition to exemplary, let's say, warriorship, right? In addition to amassing elite status and things of the like, right? In addition to these things is the money, right? So that the warriorship is not only the prize, the accolades that you rack up are not only the prize, but that quite literally the money, one's purse, brothers and sisters, is the goddamn prize. Am I bugging or not? The money is the prize, ladies and gentlemen. So that, in other words, the acquisition of substantial capital is the goal, right? And that substantial capital that one earns or stands to earn or seeks to align themselves to earn is what is going to further dictate not only how beautiful your bank account looks in the morning when you wake up, but as far as the sport is concerned, what the gaining and the acquisition of that substantial amount of money is going to do is further dictate one's mobility, ladies and gentlemen. That's why you want to amass money, not only for generational wealth and all the things that, everybody dreams of, but so that within the sport, you can be as mobile as possible. So that you can reach, as far as, the one's stature is concerned, the king of the hill status, ladies and gentlemen, in my Roy Jones voice. King of the hill. The king of the hill dictates the mobility. So that the purse and the money and the substantial capital, whatever it is that you want to call it, is the dictator of one's mobility in the sport. It sets the stage for one's stature, one's worth, and one's value in boxing, which ultimately opens more doors for that elite athlete who got there, who achieved this types of thing. It will open the door further, provide more leeway, more credence, etc., and so forth. So in essence, brothers and sisters, the acquisition of financial gain is undoubtedly a part of the mission for an athlete. It's inextricable. It's a part of the credence and accreditation that one gets. It dictates it, and that sets the stage for further amassing of these accolades, right? Because you can use your way to bargain, so forth, etc. You guys get where I'm going, right? Undoubtedly a part of the mission for a boxer. But moreover, it is the foundation, like I said, of a fighter's ability to traverse and navigate their careers toward bigger opportunities. I cannot substantiate that any further or any clearer, right? So that the money is a form of mobility. It's a vehicle, in other words, right? Because one's value is established. Nobody can question Canelo Alvarez after he had reached a certain point. Why? Because not only had he had wonderful resume, right, compared to that of the peers that were fighting around him at the time. He done been in the ring with some crazy names, okay? He done reached the level of visibility, so forth and whatever, etc. He, which ultimately led him to be the face of boxing at a particular point, right? This million got an offer of something like $360 something plus $1 million contract. These things are, these things are allotted to you when you reach this particular level, and the money speaks for your status. It means that, these companies are willing to invest in you on that type of level. So yes, the money is just as prominent a feature as one's titles when you reach a particular point, when you have earned your space there. Do you get what I'm saying? Okay? With that being said, beautiful people, with the knowing of that, right? Why is it now? Why is it now, as it specifically pertains to and involves the young King Devin? Why is it now that suddenly the prominence and stature and importance, the paramount of money, why is that now being used as the alibi, a pretext, and an excuse to not make the biggest, most significant fights in the sport, brothers and sisters? So, my calculator must be broken because the math ain't motherfucking mathing for me on this. And I have been sitting looking at this landscape trying to deal with this. And I can't for the life of me understand what the hell is going on in this current climate of boxing. Since when, brothers and sisters, is money the alibi to get out of the significant fights? How did we arrive here? Can anybody explicate that to me? I've been having trouble over these past few days, brothers and sisters. How is the money the very vehicle for you to get and substantiate one's place, one's accolades, one's mobility, one's uprightness within the sport, access to titles, to establish one's value as a fighter? How is that the prize that every fighter fights for? The motivator to not fight, brothers and sisters? Are we in a goddamn Twilight Zone? Because I feel like I'm in a damn Twilight Zone up in here. How did we arrive here, ladies and gentlemen? So you mean to tell me that we are going to begin foregoing, right? We're going to begin renouncing that the basis of the sport being centered around fighting for a prize is now, null and void? Or now, the idea, since money isn't necessarily an issue these days, right? Now we're going to use the money, the surplus amounts of money, the availability in huge, gargantuan numbers of money is going to be the thing that instead of we're going to be running towards the fight, that's going to be the thing that makes us recoil from fights. Even though the money is on the table, significant, unprecedented amounts of money, brothers and sisters. question that I pose to the good family. Is that what's happening? We have been seeing, and this is particular to DHP, specific to DHP, this problem of making the waters muddy as far as the importance of money as it pertains to DHP. We've been seeing repeated patterns, far too much consistency, ladies and gentlemen, far too much regularity in the way that boxing as a whole has found and embarked upon all types of creative ways to circumvent DHP. We've seen all types of creative ways that these people are coming up with to avoid the collision with this brother. And money, the very thing that people have been glazing over. Oh, you don't make as much money as this person. Oh, you fight that person, they're going to be the biggest payday of your life if you fight that particular person. Right? Glorified. Not too long ago. But somehow, over the recent years, money is the thing that's like, oh, well, I know my worth now, you're here. Oh, you're not going to be able to tell me how much I'm going to be getting, so forth, etc. Yeah, that may be the biggest offer of my goddamn lifetime, but that don't mean that I'm going to get in the ring with you because, I hit my pinky toe and somebody needs to be able to pay me such and such amounts of millions in order for me to get out of bed tomorrow. You feel what I'm saying? What is this? I don't even know if I can call this diva mentality, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what this is that I'm looking at. I really don't. And it's specific and unique to DHP. Not that people aren't, liable to price themselves out or liable to ask for surplus, extensive amounts of money when they fight this person or that person. It happens. And I have to say that because I don't want anybody to misconstrue the point that I am making, right? But that the level of evasion that DHP has to deal with is unlike anything else that and I mean what the fuck I'm saying, that any fighter has to deal with. They do not have to deal with that to this degree. It is unique to the young King Devin. Okay? Far too much consistency and regularity with the pattern of creating outs, even to the point that substantial amounts of money that stand to be on the table for an opponent of his, a prospective opponent, substantial amounts of money is now being viewed as something to turn your nose up to. And this is coming from people who have never, ever in their careers, in their lives, seen this type of money. These are the people who are prize fighters, and they are turning down the biggest fucking prize of their lives. Just to avoid Devin, brothers and sisters, this is what's happening. And we see what's happening. We have been seeing these types of plays and moves being made. All right? I can honestly say, beautiful people, I have never in all of my boxing days seen any such maneuvering with fighters, with promoters, managers, etc. and so forth. I've never seen the likes of this. It has gotten to the point that they are willing to outrightly plot and scheme on how to not get the biggest bags of their lives, on how to come up with excuses on why it was better for them to circumvent the biggest opportunities of their careers. I mean, plotting and scheming to justify the level of ducking that we have been witnessing. So outrightly and unabashedly, ladies and gentlemen, plotting and scheming on how not to get the biggest fight of their careers made, and the accompaniment of the biggest bag of their careers, on the biggest stage of their careers, strictly due to the fact that the young king is in front of them as the opponent, brothers and sisters. What is going on? What is the mentality that has been supporting this? Because it certainly has been ongoing. And it's very, very problematic for me. Highly problematic for me as a diehard. Okay? Now, we just saw ADD goddamn Davis, okay, squirm his way, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go down the list. Just a week ago, barely 2 weeks ago, ADD goddamn Davis squirmed his way deliberately, calculatively, methodically away from the smoke with the young king. I mean, just as unabashed as you want to, like a hoe with a motherfucking skirt up, baby. No goddamn shame. Shameless, spineless ducking. That's what we just witnessed with that old sucker, ADD Davis. As contrived and plotted and schemed and cultivated by that old jive turkey. And as further supported and backed by Hot Girl Summer Snatchway Stevenson. This is the malarkey that we just witnessed, that we just came off of a week ago. I mean, outrightly ducked. This is ADD. Outrightly ducked and swerved the biggest fight of his lifetime. And I would even posit that he will never have a more substantial opportunity in front of him, one that surpasses the opportunity that was presented to him in fighting the young king. Does not get bigger than that, brothers and sisters. And he bypassed it like a whole sucker. Under the guise of what? Money. Money, brothers and sisters. Under the guise of money. We know that money was not the reason. His cowardice was the reason, ladies and gentlemen. And the whole ass behavior, the whole ass energy that saw it fit and saw it best to clout ride the name of the young king so that he can be exposed, be granted a level of visibility that he had never ever had in his career, such as the one that he acquired via the clout chasing and all the crazy inanity that he was on. But that his association, being in proximity to the young king's name, was the goal, not to fight him. Whole ass activities, brothers and sisters, all up and down these boxing streets. I'm sick of it. No manhood whatsoever is on deck over here. Outrightly ducked, swerved the biggest fight of his life, brothers and sisters, even despite the absurdity of how he pompously called out the young king, even despite the endless gascinating that he was doing, bragging all over the goddamn place about how he will beat Devin, telling Bill, I'm going to beat your son, and when I beat your son, you going to manage me, so forth, etc. We know the drill. We've seen it all. We've seen the folly, the charades of this man. Even despite all the bogus skits in the middle of the goddamn ocean, on movie sets, on Oprah's couch, at the local goddamn Walmart, anywhere that he could have a camera pointed at him, this man was on a mountaintop for attention, via the usage of the young king's name and being in proximity to him. Even despite all of that, and even furthermore, he did all of that despite being strategically placed as the mandatory to the young king Devin. He was purposely and strategically put there as mandatory. This motherfucker and that old jive turkey went as far as that, ladies and gentlemen, under the guise that they wanted to be called as mandatory so that they can get the smoke, so forth, and say, we want to fight you, we want to fight you. Cap! was strategically placed by that Job Turkey in a division that he never, ever stepped foot within before. But magically, he was placed number one and called a mandatory to the young King Devin after leaving a division that he had never even attained championship within, brothers and sisters. Nothing. He accomplished nothing at 140. And here he is hauling his ass to 147 for all of the attention that he wants. All of the clout riding access that he wants to have. And got away with it, brothers and sisters. In lieu of all of that, ladies and gentlemen, this clown still, despite all of the charades, the antics, the moves, the mandatory solidification, so forth, etc. In lieu of all of that, this fucking sucker talked his tail and got the fuck out of Dodge, ladies and gentlemen. Even despite the gargantuan amount of money that was on the table for him, which was over $3 million. Prior to, of course, the calling of that purse bid, which would have allotted him 2.1. He denied and declined over $3 million, ladies and gentlemen. $3 million. As a man who had never received a guarantee of $1 million, let alone 3 goddamn million. Okay? Tucked his tail in plain view. And since he's done it, it's only been about a week or so, ladies and gentlemen, right? As we said, he's been allowed to freely disappear off into the sunset in absolute peace, brothers and sisters. You can't make this up. You really just cannot make this up. This man is out walking these streets peacefully. Nobody is on his ass. Nobody's putting a foot up this man's ass. Nobody in these boxing streets are really doing that work outside of the real ones, the conscious brothers and sisters who do this and do not play games with the reality. All right? But that the general boxing space is allowing this man's peace to go on unabated, uninterrupted. Absolute unabated peace, brothers and sisters. That's what ADD Davis is enjoying now after having the most disgusting, one of the most disgusting, vile, shameless, and spineless ducks in all of boxing history, brothers and sisters. That's what that was. One of the most spineless and shameless ducks in all of boxing history. That's just ADD Davis. Let's go further, shall we? Then we got Hot Girl Summer Stevenson. Snatch Waist Stevenson. Also shamelessly ducking death. Right? He avoided and bypassed the smoke with the young king at the same time as ADD Davis. As we discussed last week, that was a simultaneous duck. Okay? Sassy Snatch Waist goddamn challenges were being given, right? Oh, take the Sassy Snatch Waist challenge in order to fight me. You name it. Everything that you can think of. Any level of inanity that you can think of. This is what E.T. goddamn Stevenson threw at the young king in effort to avoid smoke with his brother. To avoid the biggest fight of his career and lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. The biggest payday of his lifetime and career, brothers and sisters. The biggest stage of his career, ladies and gentlemen. That's Snatch Waist Stevenson. He ducked the biggest opportunity of his lifetime as well. Right? That's what he did. Gargantuan amounts of money. A rare opportunity to claim and establish legacy in the sport that these fucking suckers claim that they are the best within. And they ducked the opportunity, swerved the opportunity to prove that, to clarify and claim that they are the best at what it is that they do. And they denied the substantial amounts of money that came with claiming and solidifying that king of the hill status should they have been victorious against the young king. And they smooth ducked it, brothers. That's just as spineless and as shameless as you can get. I cannot wrap my mind around the fact that ADD rejected $3 million, ladies and gentlemen. People are now trying to flip the script. I'm sure you guys have seen it in these boxing streets, right? Let's go back to ADD really quickly. You've seen it in these damn streets. People attempting to gaslight and induce into the public this notion that, trying to accept the farce of $3 million not being a substantial amount of money, not being a significant offer for a fighter. How the fucking, when the fuck did $3 million become petty fucking change? When did 3 motherfucking M's become petty change, brothers and sisters? Can somebody explicate? Right. Exactly. Somehow it's not a significant offer for a fighter who considers themselves, mind you, elite. Brothers and sisters, didn't Boots Ennis just get paid $3 million in his unification bout against Xander Zayas? Only what, a month or two ago? Didn't Boots get paid $3 million for a unification fight at 154? Tell me if I'm lying. I don't recall hearing anybody crawl their little asses over to Boots and say, oh, you was paid chump change to fight Xander Zayas in the unification bout. Somehow, the idea and the aspect of small money, not being enough money, not being good enough, you don't know your worth, wasn't brought up at all when it came to Boots barely 2 months ago. But somehow, as it pertains to Devin, and the prospective fight that was on the table between he and Keyshawn, suddenly overnight, right? $3 million is instantly devalued when it comes to Devin making the offer or that amount of money, putting that on the table for Keyshawn to be his opponent. Not only to be his opponent, but that Keyshawn mandated to be in position to oppose Devin. Overnight, $3 million is sucker change? Short change? Somebody stop me when I'm capping, brothers and sisters. Why was there nobody talking to Boots about, because you don't know your worth. $3 million, that's all you got? There was no conversation about that. Not a hit in the wind. No dissent whatsoever around Boots being paid $3 million for a unification. Unification, brothers and sisters. Boots is the unified champion of 154 and walked away with the gargantuous amount of $3 million. Absolutely gargantuous, a substantial amount of money, brothers and sisters. Okay? That is not chump change on any goddamn standard or measuring stick. But somehow it is when Devin is involved. Do you understand the unique position that I am trying to explicate to you, brothers and sisters, that he holds within boxing? How the standards conveniently and easily become transient when it comes to him? Definitions get looser and more interchangeable, and ideas and perspectives get more fleeting, right? Oh, things don't necessarily have to stick or have concrete anything to stand on when it comes to Devin. We want fluidity. We want changeability to change the rules when it comes to Devin, but somehow it can stick and be solidified and confirmed when it applies to another fighter in boxing. You know what I mean? $3 million for a unification. Fabulous, wonderful fight that we got between Zayas and Boots Ennis. $3 million was Boots Ennis his payday. And as the beautiful King pointed out, right? Beautiful King BF. He had a live discussion, and he was calling out and clarifying some wonderful points as well about what people have gotten paid. And he had mentioned and reminded everybody that Ryan Garcia's guarantee was less than $3 million for all of my yard family up in here. Everybody who was in the yard that day. You remember where the beautiful King BF substantiated that. Right? Right, racist fucking Riri got less than $3 million in his fight against Purple Pain Davis. I believe his guarantee was something like 2.5, 2 million, something like that. That was the guarantee for racist Riri. Okay? And that was the highest grossing fight of both of their careers up until this point, at least. And he got less than $3 million guarantee. I didn't hear anybody complaining to Ryan about what he was being given or, being equated to chump change. And it was less than $3 million. Nobody was complaining to Riri, calling him a sucker, saying, oh, they could do better, or you got to know your worth, ask for more. You need to be getting 5, 6, 11 goddamn $million. Wasn't nobody up Riri's motherfucking ass telling him that. Not a complaint in the world, brothers and sisters. But somehow, when it comes to Devin, anything that he is involved in, should that be an offer that comes along with the solidification of a fight with him, all of a sudden there are endless lamentations about how that particular amount of money, same as any other person, or more than any other person has had, is now too insufficient an amount. Do you get where I'm going? Right? And as per BF's research in a recent breakdown that he did, which is the clip that I'm about to pull up for you guys in just a moment, where he explicated and broke down beautifully the fact that the purse bid that the young King and ADD Davis, the money that was allotted to them in their total amount of the purse bid, was the third highest purse bid amount allotted in boxing history, brothers and sisters. So that this old little tagline, this trope that's going around, that this is chump change. Oh, they only bid $8 million on the fight. Oh, Devin is getting 6.4 million. ADD is getting only 2.1 million. Oh, that's chump change. This very thing that they are considering to be chump change, that they so desperately want to make you believe is chump change, happens to be the third largest purse bid in all of boxing. Let me get the clip from my brothers and sisters. See, this is the level of work that your motherfucking Shaggy Zattels will not do, that your motherfucking Dick Glazer won't do when they're writing and tweeting out sassy ass motherfucking posts. This is something that Mike Cappinger or Chris Mannix will not do. They will not put in the footwork to do this type of analyses and research, right? But thankfully, we got the beautiful King BF, who is an excellent scholar and excellent mind that devised this all and compiled it all together for boxing enthusiasts to see for themselves. Let me get this clip for you, brothers and sisters. It's imperative. I thought that this was one of the most imperative pieces of boxing commentary that has been put out, especially right now amid everything that's going on and all the misinformation and the intentional mystification of information. Take a look at this, brothers and sisters.
Got $1.4 million.
Did you guys hear that? Put a 9 in the chat if you guys heard that. I want to make sure that you guys can hear that so that we can continue. And I'll run it back and let it play through for you. Did you guys hear that okay? Okay, I see a 9 that came through. Okay, some 9s are coming through. Here we go, beautiful people. Listen to this. Listen closely.
The number 5 highest grossing fight in boxing history was Vladimir Klitschko versus Kubrat the Caveman Pulev.
Okay, so the beautiful King is setting the stage. This is a very informative video, right? I just took an excerpt from the video, just as a disclaimer. Much more to this. excellent work, excellent research, right? But I'm going from the top 5. I think Beautiful King covered top 10, highest grossing purse bids of all time. I took it from number 5 on up, just so that we can get a gauge and a feel, for what these purse bids actually look like and what significant fighters, forefront premier fighters, have been offered within their purse bids, so that we could just demystify and absolutely quell and shut out all of the lies that have been going on surrounding this idea that Devin's purse bid and Keyshawn's purse bid was some nothing burger, some chump change nonsense. It's not true at all. Please listen. Here we go.
Kubrat Pulev got $1.4 million. 1.4. Vladimir Klitschko, the 3-belt heavyweight champion of the world, the IBF, the WBO, the WBA, and the Ring Lineal King, got $5.8 million.
Do you understand what that means, brothers and sisters? This is Vladimir Klitschko, one of the longest reigning heavyweight champions, period. Right? Okay? This man Klitschko, at the time that he was fighting Pulev, was offered a purse bid of $5.8 million. And we got to look at this in context to the 8.5 total purse bid that was allotted to the Young King and Keyshawn Davis, where the Young King was given $6.4 million. Right? And Pulev, in this fight with Klitschko, his purse bid was $1.4 million, ladies and gentlemen. $1.4 million. And this was for a 3-belt championship fight that Pulev stand to, should he have been successful, he would have become a unified heavyweight champion, including the lineal title, ladies and gentlemen. And his purse bid was $1.4 million. Let's juxtapose that next to Keyshawn Davis, a man with 15 fucking fights, brothers and sisters, losing his damn strap that he fought for, his first and only, losing that shit on the scales due to missing weight, moving up to 140, having no championship whatsoever in that division, and then out of nowhere being placed magically into 147, a division he has never fought within. And this man was demanding upwards of $5 or $6 million in his purse bid, or just to be within his offer as a whole. Put it in context, and you tell me if any of that makes sense. Let's continue. And this is the 5th largest purse bid in boxing history that we are looking at. Vladimir Klitschko and Kubrat, however you say his name, Pulev. Let's continue.
That is what he got for this fight. Okay. Let's keep moving on because there is some conversation that we need to have here. Okay? The number 4 highest purse bid that has ever happened in the history of boxing, Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois. When Alexander Usyk was a 3-belt WBA, WBO, and IBF champion, and Daniel Dubois was his WBA mandatory. Daniel Dubois got 2.014, basically $2 million. Alexander Usyk got $6 million. This is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Did you guys hear that? Alexander Usyk in his fight with Daniel Dubois, DDD, brothers and sisters. Usyk has a lower guarantee from this purse bid than that of what Devin received for this recent purse bid against ADD Davis. Let that shit resonate within you, ladies and gentlemen. Alexander Usyk, the person that a lot of people have deemed number 1 pound for pound. Right? to Devin's 6.4. Let's look at Daniel Dubois. We already know what Daniel Dubois has accomplished, who he has fought in the sport, how he has fought. Okay? And this brother was offered $2 million less than Keyshawn's 2.1. Do you understand what picture is being painted here by myself and the beautiful work of the beautiful King BFTB? This is why we need to highlight and support the truth tellers, because like I said, you will not find this level of discourse as readily elsewhere. If you are not 10 toes in the yard, if you are not 10 toes in spaces that prioritize the importance of information, proper information and intel, that are not riding bandwagons to cheerlead for this or that person blindly, senselessly, fruitlessly, but who care about the work and the reality of what it is that we are looking at and what's actually being used as blockades to prevent the fights that we want to materialize under the guise of money. When we see way large fighters, people who have accomplished and done more in the sport, being given less than what this fucking sassy ass diva, ADD Davis, has ever seen in his goddamn lifetime, ladies and gentlemen. And he accomplished not even a fraction of what somebody like Dubois had accomplished in the sport, without a fraction of the resume that this man is standing on. Please pay attention and put it into perspective, because Rick fucking Glazer is not going to tell you this information. He is not a scholar like the King BFTB. Mike Coppinger will not tell you this. Fucking Shaggy from Scooby-Doo ain't gonna tell you this. And a lot of people in the surrounding areas are afraid of these types of conversations. But we're gonna definitely do it here today. Let's continue.
Okay, the heavyweight champion. The number 3 highest grossing purse bid in the history of boxing is Devin Haney versus Coastal Keyshawn Davis. Okay, we all know what the purse bid was. Keyshawn Coastal Davis got more than Daniel Dubois, 2.1. Devin Haney got more than Alexander Usyk, 6.4. Okay.
So you guys just heard that loud and clear. The third, as aforementioned earlier, Devin versus Keyshawn Davis's recent purse bid, barely goddamn a week or two ago, brothers and sisters, happened to be the third largest purse bid in boxing history. We are not talking about within the past 5-10 years, brothers and sisters. I'm talking about the third largest within the history of this sport. That's what this recent purse bid stands on. The third largest purse bid in the history of boxing, brothers and sisters. Please pay attention.
This is where Keyshawn Davis pulled out and ran. Said he knows his value and wants more money. It's all good. We'll talk about it here in a second. The number 2 highest grossing pay-per-view, highest grossing purse bid in the history of boxing was Vladimir Klitschko versus Alexander Povetkin. Okay? Povetkin was guaranteed $5 million, 5.8, almost 6. Vladimir Klitschko was guaranteed 17.5.
Let's put that into context, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, that's a gargantuan amount of money for Vladimir Klitschko, right? But let's take a peep at Povetkin's purse bid, right? Because we are now looking at the second highest purse bid amount ever allotted in boxing history. And Alexander Povetkin's purse was less than that of the young King Devin's. So let's not talk about chump change, shall we not? Who are these idiots passing this folly around that are trying to inculcate into you the idea that this isn't substantial amounts of money being put on the table to make that fight happen? Let's continue.
This is the second highest purse bid of all time. The number one highest purse bid of all time is Tyson Fury versus D-Ball Dillian White. Okay? Dillian White got 7. Tyson Fury got 29.5. The highest grossing fight boxing, the highest grossing, or the highest pay-per-view, I'm sorry. The highest pay-per-view in boxing history. The highest pay-per-view, the highest purse bid. I'm over here tripping thinking about this duck. The highest purse bid in boxing history. Which then leads me to some simple questions here. So very, very simple questions. Okay? This is the order, y'all. This is the order. As you see, Devin Haney versus Keyshawn Davis is the third highest purse bid in the history of boxing. The history of it. The part that really gets me to call this man one of, if not the greatest, I think he's number 2, to be honest, is because look where he's rated as an individual of all purse bids in the history of boxing. He is number 9. Number 9.
So, to clarify, brothers and sisters, as we know, the purse bid with Devin and ADD Davis was the third highest purse bid in all of boxing history. But BF even went further and put in context ADD Davis in relation to people, who have been given or offered the largest amounts of money. And within this list, Keyshawn is at number 9 as an individual. Number 9. So that he is within the top 10 highest or largest individual purse bid allocations. That's what he is showing. Keyshawn is ranked number 9. And this is in context to the history of boxing, not within the past 2 years, not within the past 7 years, not within the past 15 years, brothers and sisters. He is number 9 in all of boxing history as far as the largest allocations. Let that resonate. Let that resonate, brothers and sisters. Okay? So that this is what we are dealing with. Shout out to the beautiful king, BFTB, for putting in that level of research as he always does, right? Very thorough, very well learned, very erudite. And he takes his time and he puts his information together properly. It was imperative for me, to further elaborate upon the points that he made in that particular video, and to share it. Because all of the fiction that's going around now that we have been hearing in the aftermath of this fight, falling absolutely through as a result of the cowardice of Keyshawn Davis, absolutely backing away from what was offered to him, right? It's mind-blowing to me. It's mind-blowing to me. And it was imperative, to further assist in the dispelling and the quelling of the fiction, of the narratives going around right now that are trying to convince people, that wasn't enough money, right? That want to clarify and support this folly that's saying, you should have given him more money. That's not enough money, so forth, etc. It's absolute folly. You see where Keyshawn stands in context to that. And you see where this particular purse bid stands in boxing history as far as the significant amount of money. Third highest in all of boxing history. And this nigga's talking about, that's not enough. And these sassy ass sympathizers and man fans talk about, oh, well, that's chump change, or he could have got more, so forth, etc. Absolute folly and malarkey, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So that, hold on, let me charge my thing. There we go. So that this menial, the supposed menial offer was actually quite substantial, was it not, brothers and sisters? You have seen it for yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Have you not? Absolutely substantiated for you. Quite a substantial offer according to the data and the intel, brothers and sisters. Right? And of course you can do your own fact checking and your own research. 8.5 million. That was allotted to Devin and Keyshawn, was the third largest amount ever allotted for a fight in a purse bid. Go verify for yourselves. Go watch the research. Go watch this video in full. Do your own, conducting of analysis. Go on and clarify for yourselves. Because you will not find, like I said, any other platform divulging or showcasing the proof of that information, brothers and sisters. These people out here writing all types of sassy tweets and spreading gossip, and the motherfucking Dick Glazer and the Cappagers and the fucking Shaggies of the world and all of their asses. Pushing everything out but facts. But information that people can use to make clear, conscious decisions for themselves. Right? But those people don't even care to do the research, real talk, to begin with. So that is what that is. But thankfully, we got some real ones out here, 10 toes doing that work. Like I said, salute to the beautiful King BFTB for the phenomenal work that he always does. Because this is not new to him. This is what he does. Right? So we see all of this proof. Yet somehow, all of the fiction surrounding the idea that Keyshawn was somehow lowballed, so forth, etc., right, is out here, just pervasive with the nonsense. If such were the case, that this man was not given what he was, deserving of, can somebody tell me this? Why hasn't ADD Davis ever made even $1 million in his entire career guaranteed? If this is what he is so, worth, right? After 15 fights, after losing his belt on the scales and all the other crazy charades and antics that followed this man, why was he never even given $1 million previous to this? Why wasn't he even guaranteed $1 million, let alone 3? If he is so out of the blue worth over 3 million, according to people, he's worth 5 million, 6 million, 7 million, whatever, that these people have been crying about. His trainer, his team, all this nonsense that we have been seeing. Why didn't he get that in his fight with R.B. Idam Albright, brothers and sisters? If he is so valuable, if he is so deserving of $6 million plus, why he didn't get it from R.B. Albright? Why didn't he get that against Stanley Oatness? Why was there no posturing for Baron Chick? Excuse me, his first title shot. And moreover, should he face another opponent, brothers and sisters, I wonder if these fucking meat riders and man fans and he himself are going to be throwing their lamentations on the wall to see what sticks. I wonder if they're going to be out there with him with the picket signs, waving signs all over the place, pushing for him making over $3 million. Is his next opponent going to give him $3 million, brothers and sisters? I wonder. You tell me, if Keyshawn ADD Davis, with whoever he tends to fight or intends to fight or wants to fight next, is he going to try to bogart his way into making 3 million plus, 4 million plus, 6 million plus dollars? Because he certainly will not be given that type of guarantee outside of fighting the likes of the young king. That's for sure, brothers and sisters. That's for absolute certain. And let's get into Hot Girl Summer Stevenson, yes? Let's talk to the snatch waist god, Shakur Stevenson, who was also given a whopping, gargantuan amount of money. This sucker was given a $60 million contract, reportedly, in his deal with Zuffa. Right? Multi-fight deal. Something like $15 million per fight. Right? And let's not forget, brothers and sisters, that deal that the Hot One Stevenson, Snatch Waist Stevenson, Hot Girl Summer Stevenson, his deal was predicated upon him fighting Devin. So Zuffa went the extra mile, brothers and sisters, guaranteeing the Shook One, $15 million a fight, essentially. But that was predicated upon their want to solidify the fight with Devin. What is the Shook One Stevenson's excuse for avoiding and ducking the young king, if that's the case? Because it certainly wasn't the money. The money was on the floor. All the money that he could have wanted was on the floor from Zuffa, right? Because that's the fight that they wanted. How could he have evaded the biggest, the most significant fight of his career, brothers and sisters? He tried to use the alibi of the 3 pounds. Oh, come fight me at the 144. Now you hear my waist is so tight, baby. Oh my God, you too big for me, right? We heard the sassy ass nigga, oh my God, you too big for me. Right? Come down 3 pounds. Right? We also heard the excuse of the vacating of the title that he wanted Devin to do. But we already know that none of that was the reality of the situation. This coward was given a contract where he was set to have a guarantee. I cannot say this clearly enough, brothers and sisters. $15 million guaranteed to the sucker. And he tucked his tail just the same, ladies and gentlemen. Previous to this deal with Zuffa, Snatch Waist Stevenson never exceeded a guarantee of above $8 million. But suddenly, somehow, $15 million guarantee in the biggest fight deal of his life is somehow not worth being the prize that it's supposed to be. Apparently, this is not a prize enough to go in there and conquer turf. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is with 15 mil guaranteed. Zuffa is vehemently in support, in pursuit of that Devin fight, such that they will give him that amount of money, brothers and sisters. And this sucker, the Snatch Waist Hot Girl Summer Stevenson, comes up with the excuse to avoid the young King Devin, the biggest fight of his lifetime, the biggest name outside of Purple Pain Davis that has been attributed to his name, synonymous with his name for nearly a decade, brothers and sisters. This fight is what he tucked his tail and ran from, also that he could avoid the smoke with Devin under the guise of 3 pounds. All while ducking behind a $15 million guarantee that was supposed to solidify the fight's materialization. Make it make sense, ladies and gentlemen. Let's make that make sense. Let me check in with the good family before we move on, good people. I know I went on for a little bit, right? But I wanted to really set the table. Really set the table on this. Because there's a lot of dispositions going around that are absolutely clouded and intentionally misinformed and misinforming. Okay? Salute to the King Yasir. I see you in the building. I went up a ways. Fleishon. Salute to the richest one in the building. I see you as well. Salute to the King J. Pitt. Blessings to anybody I may have missed. Let me see what your thoughts were. Talk to him, twin. The twin says, so a guy who missed weight 2 times and caused a brawl in his hometown fight deserves $5 million? Get the fuck out of here. Could not have said it better, twin. You really just can't make this stuff up. You really just could not make it up if you wanted to as a sane, logical person. Salute to the intelligent one in the building. I see you, King. Infinite blessings to you, infinite peace. The King J Pitt says, boxing channels that interview Shakur, y'all better not ask him the hard questions. He gonna block you to smithereens. Child, listen, I didn't even have to do an interview to ask him questions. That nigga blocked me ASAP. You know what I mean? I guess he got a whiff of the work and was like, damn, Goddess out here talking too real for me. Keep her away from me at all times. Right? So I guess I'm just as good as DHP out here. Devin got his ass tucking tails and hauling ass in these boxing streets, and I got his ass tucking tails away from me, you know, as far as the commentary space is concerned. Because he blocked my ass ASAP on Twitter. Like the sassy, you know, jive turkey that he is. Salute to the King J Pitt. My comrade said, talk heavy. I'm on the job, King. I'm on the job. Right? Salute to the King J Pitt. Again, I saw your comment. He says, they fooled the casuals into believing that Ryan was getting more than that. He got more than that, but most of that was back end money. Guaranteed was way lower than that. Absolutely. Right? Okay, so that what he had, you know, grossed and accumulated was definitely back end money. Right? But that guarantee was less than $3 million. I believe it was like $2.5 million for racist Riri in the tank fight. Okay. All right, let me scroll back down, brothers and sisters. Salute to the pugilists in the building. I see you. I see you. Salute to Jamar. He says he better stop following behind Shakur, child. I don't think he's going to ever get up from under the snatch waist god's ass. He seems permanently glued, you know, to that man's, I don't know. He just, it is what it is, that whole side over there. It's absolutely despicable, brothers and sisters, right? And it's definitely worth us putting out there for what it is. Okay, as far as the reality, engaging what it is that we are dealing with and putting these things into context. Because there are so many people out here that would love for you to be mystified and misinformed, right? But we dispel all the nonsense here. And on the real, you know, brothers and sisters channels who are out here, you know, really, really servicing the space with some clarity and providing some scholarly looks and centering some intelligent discussions around what it is that is going on, right? You know, in effort to preserve the sport that we love, the integrity of the sport that we love. At the end of the day, we want to support the best fighting the best, and anything standing as an impasse to that or a blockade within the way of that should absolutely be called out for what it is and, you know, thrown to the fucking fire ASAP. We don't have no time for that at all, right? So that we had to sit there and endure the ducking of ADD Davis. We had to sit there and endure the disgusting, vile, blatant, shameless, spineless ducking of Snatchwaist Stevenson. Let's look on, though, because it doesn't stop there, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like I said in the preface, okay, that this is a repeated, habitual thing. It's a pattern as far as DHP is concerned, right? And these moves and these plots and the, you know, these excuses to avoid him under the guise of money, right? Those weren't the only two instances. Let's recall Rolly goddamn Retardo. Only what, three months ago, brothers and sisters? Back in May. Let's also recall Rolly Retardo, ladies and gentlemen. Because that was the initial fight of the year that the public, as far as the, you know, masses of us were concerned, that was the first fight that we were really highly anticipating as far as the young king is concerned, right? Only a few months ago back in May, all of boxing, ladies and gentlemen, was awaiting that particular fight to gain some traction and to be materialized, right? We saw that he pushed for that fight to be made with Rolly Retardo, and Rolly Retardo intentionally, purposely positioned himself in front of Devin, acting as if he wanted that fight. It was Rolly fucking Retardo that pushed and pursued that fight vehemently. You guys remember? Okay? And this came months, you know, after months and months and months, brothers and sisters, of this fucking sucker Rolly going on camera, publicly rebuking, publicly denouncing the possibility of a fight ever materializing with the young king. So that he got all hype out of no goddamn well, oh, Devin, I want to fight Devin. I want to fight Devin. I want to fight Devin. Well, only in the preceding months, this man was outrightly saying, I will never fight Devin. Never. I will see to it that I never fight Devin. He's going to sue me. He's going to sue me for 5 years. Those were his exact words. I don't know how the fuck you sue somebody for 5 years straight, but in this motherfucker's mind, that is non-existent. That's what he said, brothers and sisters. I will never fight Devin Haney. Never. I just don't want the fight. I just don't feel like fighting him. What has Devin done? The nerve and the audacity of this fucking chump, brothers and sisters. All of a sudden, found the balls, I guess, in his mind. It wasn't the reality, but he was definitely pump faking in front of the public, right? To have us believing that he wanted the fight. After saying these crazy things, I will never fight Devin. I want nothing to do with Devin. Don't ever want to step into the ring with Devin. Here he come waving a fucking flag, a rainbow fucking glitter flag in the air. Devin, 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 Devin. Not fucking stop. Absolutely out of nowhere comes this fucking sucker calling the young king's name from every mountaintop. You remember, beautiful people, right? And he did so conveniently at a time where he was about to be mandated to fight who? Shakram Gizioff, a man that apparently this chump Rolly Retardo was scared to death of, brothers and sisters. And so as an out to avoid that smoke, what did he do? What all of these lame ass, sassy ass suckers do? Clout chase Devin's name to bring attention off of the man that he wanted to swerve and to bring attention to himself, all while he was building a bridge to tuck his tail and avoid Devin, all the while using his name, ladies and gentlemen. He clout chased Devin's name so hard that the young king took notice and said, okay, nigga, what? What's popping? What you want to do? Right? And subsequently, after Devin took notice, Rolly's team proposed an offer to DHP. They sent an offer and Devin was like, okay, I'll take a look at it. Let's see what we got. Right? And Devin definitely took interest in it, despite the fact that it was what was being offered was way fucking less than anything he would have, he's used to being paid at this particular point in his career, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Far from what a normal payday for him would be, but that the young king took interest in and agreed to the initial process of the negotiation, right? Because his eye was on the fact that this potential bout with Rolly Retardo would have been a unification bout. And we already know that Devin is on legacy time at all times, right? And so he was willing to overlook the financial backstep that he would have to take because ultimately the goal was to acquire a belt, right? So he entertained the idea, ladies and gentlemen, because he's a champion and championship and legacy is on his mind. So he said, okay, I'll take this seriously and we can discuss further, but I am interested and I do want this fight, right? But then after gaining Devin's interest and attention and willingness to make the concessions, right? As he always does, Rolly fucking Retardo, just like Snatchway Stevenson and ADD, began what? Implementing, brothers and sisters. You guys remember? He began implementing absurd, ludicrous demands on Devin Haney. Ain't this interesting how these people are playing the same fucking hand? The same hand. This is not coincidental, brothers and sisters. We got a whole sheet of historical data to back this up. Absolutely absurd, foolish demands were made by Rolly Romero at that particular point those few months ago, brothers and sisters, one after the other, until finally the young king said, you know what? Fuck you and fuck this fight. You are not going to play in my face. You niggas don't want an ounce of pressure with me. Go have several fucking seats. And he got the hell out of there as he should have. All types of surrounding things were at play there that I did not fancy at all, in addition to the ones that were being publicly spoken about, Rolly bogusly stipulated, if you guys recall, that Devin pay himself. Essentially, brothers and sisters, he said that Devin ought to go on and find and search and scavenge for 50% of his own purse. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. It's absolutely bogus, brothers and sisters. You tell me what fighter would pay themselves to put their money towards their own motherfucking purse that they're taking home, ladies and gentlemen. What? So that in order to fight Rolly, in other words, ladies and gentlemen, Devin, according to Rolly, should have paid himself to fight Rolly. Absolute imbecility and 1000% disrespectful on every level. Blatant disrespect, brothers and sisters. And this is the unique position that DHP stands within. This is the level and the degree to which the absurdity and disrespect is exemplified in a way that no other fighter in boxing currently and presently has to deal with. That's not up for discussion. This is what DHP has on their table on a constant basis. This pattern. Okay? A bunch of cowards who are walking around gaining all types of visibility, brothers and sisters, all types of clout, purely off of chasing and saying his name, all the while wanting no smoke, simultaneously ducking every bit of a collision with him, so that they will get in front of a crowd and get in the middle of everything and say, Devin, 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 pick me. Devin, 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 pick me. Devin, 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 I'll fight you. Devin, 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 I'm better than you. Devin, 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 this. Devin, 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 that. No intention whatever on getting it popping on a battlefield, but every intention to use the spark that they create off of his name to service whatever crazy, sinister, twisted, toxic ass agenda that they really have at work. Okay? None of these chumps want to fight, brothers and sisters. Not a single one of them. Like I said, we have a track record of that. Crazy. They all motion to get in view of him. They pump fake to get a headline in an article. They pump fake to get, what this journalist or that journalist to officiate a report about the possibility or potentiality of a fight that may be on the horizon. Cap! All of it is cap. All of that to only end up rescinding and recoiling, backtracking away from the work, opting completely out of the pressure and the smoke with him. It's crazy. Absolutely bogus, brothers and sisters. We're not going to sit up here and pretend that we do not see what is going on and that we cannot account for what's going on. And they do it under the guise that they always revert to, brothers and sisters, which is always under the excuse of money. Always under the excuse of money. That's the guise. What's worse is that the huge amounts of money are on the table is so ripe for the taking as it pertains to Devin in a lot of these cases. So much money, there is no excuse to be ducking and dodging like this. There is absolutely no paucity, brothers and sisters, no scarcity in sight whatever. Substantial amounts of money is available when we are talking about the solidification of a fight with the young King Devin. Okay? The prize is there for the taking. The prize is there to be given freely. Yet the prize fighters, brothers and sisters, are out here refuting and rejecting the prize. What the fuck universe are we in this sport? Prize fighters denying their prize? That's absolutely oxymoronical. How the fuck does a prize fighter deny substantial prizes that stand to be had when they defeat an elite? Make that the fuck make sense. Well, in the case of Rolly, there was no substantial amount of money because he was just dangling an idea, an illusion, a mirage in front of Devin, right? But definitely in the other cases, the guise, of money was used as it was used as an excuse for Rolly, right? But that he was saying that I will not pay you this, right? I will take away what is supposed to be the prize. I will change dates. I will change venue locations. I will change the amounts of money that was initially offered to you and backtrack on that and lower the amount of money. That was Rolly's thing, right? But these other suckers have surplus amounts of money on the table for them, which means that they have no reason to act as if no money is being presented to them. As if these aren't the biggest opportunities in front of them to make a fight with Devin and make substantial amounts of money fighting Devin. Nothing about it is logical, ladies and gentlemen, to somebody who calls themselves a prize fighter. And yet, this is the avoidance that we see repeatedly, ladies and gentlemen, via these excuses and pretexts of money. The money and the prize and everything that comes with it is absolutely copious out here in these boxing streets, plentiful and plenty available to be had. But suddenly that's not good enough? Oh, I know my worth? Even though these niggas ain't out here doing nothing, stepping on nothing, but feel so entitled to money that even heavyweight champions haven't even been offered? Make it the fuck make sense. Why are these people backing away from the opportunity to amass the very thing that they salivate over, that they want to gasconade and boast about? Oh, I make this money, I make that money. And then the money's on the fucking table and you tucking your fucking tail. Backing away from competing with the premier athletes that you say you are better than. How are you backing away from that? Isn't beating and decapitating the king or the supposed king a part of the prize? The fuck are we doing? The reality, brothers and sisters, as all of you know, is that they have no confidence that they can beat the young King Devin. That is the basis of the avoidance and circumventing and tucking of tails. Tell me I'm lying. They have no confidence that they can beat Devin. That's why we see these levels of avoidance and evasion so rampant, so replete out here, and so continuously in motion. It's as simple as that, brothers and sisters. There is no one in their right minds. You tell me if this doesn't make sense to you. Nobody in their goddamn right mind within a chosen field that they have chosen, chosen to study and work within. Nobody in their right mind will be in a field that they chose, a field that they feel that they are the apex predator within, who would outrightly deny being paid substantial, life-changing, career-defining money and claiming the stature of prominence within that field. The field that they sweat, train, bleed for, so forth, etc. There will be nobody who would not be willing to be paid for the very thing that they chose to do and that they think that they are good at. It does not exist. But somehow, when it comes to the young king, the dream Devin Haney, whenever he is involved, miraculously, people are no longer prize fighters. Oh, it's not all about the prize. Or can you raise this level up 10 million, up 30 million, or whatever ridiculous ass number that they have in their minds. Whether or not they have achieved anything in the sport or not, brothers and sisters, it becomes okay to renounce when it comes to Devin Haney. It becomes okay to renounce one's aim and basis of operating as a prize fighter. Suddenly, I'm too good for the prize. In other words, you really can't make this shit up. And now, as of late, brothers and sisters, we went through the recent history of the charades and shenanigans and inanity that has been on the table for DHP. Let's bring it even more recently. I'm talking about within the last few days. Here we have yet another development on the horizon, ladies and gentlemen, right in front of us, beautiful people. Yet another dismal and unfortunate example that we have to reference is currently going on right off of the heels of the ridiculous ducking, shameless, spineless ducking of Shakur Stevenson and ADD Davis. Right? We have another example to reference in the book of atrocities that DHP has to deal with, unfortunately, right? As we know, the Young King is looking to maintain the fight date that was originally set out to be had with ADD Davis before he fucking tucked his balls up his ass and fucking fled, that is, right? So that there was a date of October 3rd that is available and that they are holding on to, that was set for he and Keyshawn. Keyshawn hauled the fuck ass out of Dodge, but October 3rd is still on the table, okay? So that the Young King is looking to confirm, an opponent so that he can get it popping in the date and in the location that he had in mind, to have his fight, right? So up next on the chopping block, brothers and sisters, is Liam Paro, who currently holds the IBF title, right? So that this fight would be a unification bout. And as soon as we heard this, ladies and gentlemen, right, we were so disappointed with the falling out and the tucking of tails from Keyshawn Davis. Absolutely revolted and disgusted with that ducking. Excuse me, that when this opportunity opened up for him to have instead a unification bout with Paro, all of us diehards was like, okay, this would be great. And, it's a unification bout, right? Because we all know that the Young King is en route for his quest for undisputed. So yes, get the Young King another strap. We were definitely elated to hear that, right? But for some reason, brothers and sisters, here we go again. Here the fuck we go again, brothers and sisters. Within a matter of barely goddamn 48 hours, Liam, nobody was checking for your ass before Paro, as I refer to him now, had the unmitigated gall. Brothers and sisters, have you seen this nonsense on Twitter and all of that? My yard family already know what I'm talking about. This fucking sucker, Liam Paro. Liam, nobody was checking for your ass before this Paro. Had the fucking unqualified, unmitigated gall to also be looking to create an out as an excuse to duck the Young King, brothers and sisters. Barely been 2 goddamn days. Barely been 2 days, ladies and gentlemen. This nigga's already looking for the exit. This is why I had to paint the picture and set the table for y'all, so that you can see the unique position, the unique circumstances specific to DHP. What the fuck kind of ducking virus is going on here? It's crazy. Liam Paro is now looking for an out, apparently. Right? He is skirting along the edge of duckery right now, brothers and sisters. Under what? Yet again, under the guise of money, brothers and sisters. You just can't make this stuff up if you try. Now, reportedly, he sought to, finagle his way, through. He sought to, think that he could somehow outprice himself, while only having begun negotiations with DHP, brothers and sisters. Like I said, it's barely been 48 hours, maybe no more than 3 days since, negotiations opened up between DHP and Paro. But somehow he found it fitting enough to outprice himself at such an early, I'm really trying to wrap my mentality around it, ladies and gentlemen. So the $3 million offer that was put on the table for ADD Davis, the one that he fucking hauled ass away from, right, is 1,000% on the table for whatever prospective opponent that may step up to the plate, right? And so that's to say that Paro can be given this money. The $3 million. We are talking about Liam Paro, brothers and sisters. I think that his highest fucking payday was barely 500 fucking K. Barely 500K. His highest bag. Let's let that make sense. Okay? barely over 300K if I'm not mistaken. Okay? How the fuck did we get here, ladies and gentlemen? This man barely made $400,000 as his highest career payday to date. And suddenly we see somebody else turning and tooting up their nose to $3 million. Okay? Liam never himself made anything near to that kind of money. It goes without saying. I already said it. Right? This motherfucker, mind you, as we all know, has absolutely no buzz. Hence the reason why I called him Liam. Nobody was checking or looking for your ass before this Paro. Okay? Motherfucker had no buzz. Nobody looking in either direction for this nigga. Okay? None, no interest whatsoever. Crazy, crazy, crazy work. Can somebody explain to me what the fuck this nigga is tooting his nose up at as far as the $3 million offer on the table for him? The math ain't mathin', brothers and sisters. Man has absolutely no buzz, absolutely no following, absolutely no presence in the sport of boxing. Other than that, he is a current belt holder after having defeated Lewis Crocker. That's it. Okay? No shitting on him as a champion because he is a current champion after having defeated Crocker, as I said. But this man has accomplished nothing. Nothing previous to that. So here we are once again, brothers and sisters. We are seeing a motherfucker who has no weight, has made no substantial mark upon the sport whatever, feeling as if he can huff and puff and beat his chest and demand surplus amounts of money that he hasn't even shown a credence that can substantiate such a demand, ladies and gentlemen. He has no history of proven value in boxing, but feels so comfortable enough, so entitled enough, so scared enough, real talk, to try to cover himself within the guise of demanding crazy money on top of the crazy offer that he has already been given, brothers and sisters. A generous offer that is being given. Did Liam Paro demand $3 million when he fought Richardson Bitchens? Can somebody tell me if he had demanded that types of money? Somebody let me know. Was he banging Bitchinson's door down and saying, hey, give me $3 million? Did he demand it when he fought David Pisspot, as my beautiful king would call him, whose name is David Papot? Right? Did he demand $3 million from David? Let's see. Did he demand and beat his chest and demand staunchly from Lewis Crocker that he be paid $3 million for the current title that he fought for and that he won? Did he demand Crocker for $3 million, brothers and sisters? Somebody substantiate for me. How fucking dare this bum ass nigga that nobody ever checks for in life toot his goddamn nose up at the biggest offer of his existence, and probably that he will ever be offered. Do you understand what I'm saying? While this is going on, brothers and sisters, that's just one, because this is all we are now within the past few days, brothers and sisters. This is barely within this 3-day span as of right now. That's fucking Paro. Let's get on to the next that's currently in motion and currently under development right now. Okay? DHP is also currently, as many of you may know, in talks with Jack Catterall as well for a prospective fight, right? Because DHP wants to solidify a fight for that October 3rd. So that they are looking at their options. So while Paro is on some fucking delusional ass fucking sassy time, right? We also got Jack Catterall up on the chopping block to see what he's about. Because he's been doing a lot of huffing and puffing across social media, nonstop bantering with Devin's name in his mouth. Meanwhile, he hauled ass out of the fucking WBO to transition over to the goddamn WBA for whatever goddamn reason. But that's a whole nother goddamn story. God damn it. I had to add that because I said it so many times. Anyway, brothers and sisters, he's looking at damn Jack Catterall right now as well, right? And they are absolutely, DHP that is, trying to cross their T's and dot their I's diligently, like I said, to see if they can get this date locked in. Now, Jack Catterall has for months on end, brothers and sisters, to my good people who are on social media, right? Months on end, this motherfucking Catterall has been another fighter, right? Who has been vying for the attention of DHP, climbing every mountaintop that he can whenever he can, right? At different points to say Devin's name and get his attention. He's adding Devin in tweets, saying in interviews, oh, I'd like to fight Devin, right? Crazy, crazy work. He tweeted repeatedly over the past few months, as some of you may have seen, mentioning Devin and stuff like that. I'm available. I'm ready. I'm here. Blah, 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 so forth. Pick me, ass energy. You know what I mean? That's the type of time that this man has been on. While Devin was in talks with ADD and Snatchway Stevenson, right? We had little glimpses of Catterall saying, oh, I'm over here, waving his fucking arms up in the air to get Devin's attention. And now here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Devin is looking at him. Devin has turned his head to him and said, okay, what's up? What's up? You've been calling and hollering my name. Here's an opportunity. What's popping? Right? This is DHP. And here we go, brothers and sisters. We arrive, unfortunately, again at another potential ducking that's happening or that's in the works. Some type of BS is going on with Catterall, it seems to me. Okay? There are some signs peeking in of fuckery and duckery going on the Catterall side, brothers and sisters. Why? I have no idea. Catterall's manager came out on Twitter stating something like, oh, we agreed to the date. We've agreed to the location. You know what I mean? We're down with it. We're not acting precious about it. We're not going to be, over, bearing or overly, looking to overstep our boundaries as far as pay, so forth, etc. But somehow there is a reticence precisely surrounding the idea of money, brothers and sisters, because they've all, confirmed and put pressure on the fact that they have no problem with the date, no problem with the location. But they did not say, publicly at least, that they have no problem with the $3 million offer on the table. Somehow they left that out. Okay? There's a reticence, a vagueness around the acceptance of the $3 million offer that's on the table. Why is that? This is Jack Catterall, brothers and sisters. Why have they not agreed to the $3 million goddamn dollars? Why are these people, within their right to think that they can toot their, here we go again. Like I said, here the fuck it is again. Okay? Here it is being shown and evinced clearly again. Jack Catterall, brothers and sisters, has never, okay, I repeat, never, and let me say it a third time for the bitches in the back, never been a world fucking champion in his life, ladies and gentlemen. Never. Never been a world champion in his entire boxing career, brothers and sisters. The belt that he holds now is a WBA regular title. A regular title. Rolly Retardo is who is the WBA super champion right now, brothers and sisters. Catterall is the regular WBA belt holder. He is not a world super champion. After having been elevated to the status of WBA super, that's Rolly Romero. He got elevated after he shamelessly ducked Devin for whatever reason, but that's a whole nother story. But yes, the super champion is Rolly Retardo. Okay? Catterall is not a super champion. He's a good fighter, Jack Catterall, right? No beef as far as his, I guess fight style, if you want to say. I think he's a good fighter. But he is yet another one. Unqualified as far as the level of audacity to be huffing and goddamn puffing and turning and tooting one's nose up at a whopping $3 million+ offer that's on the table for him. Having never been a world champion, brothers and sisters. $3 million? I just showed you the proof. Within the work and the analysis and the breakdown that the beautiful King BFTP did of this most substantial amounts of money that have been allotted to fighters for purse bids. Just purse bids alone, right? But look at that's a purse bid. Catterall's not in a purse bid situation, and neither is what's his name as of yet, right? They're just in the preliminary stages of negotiating. But the money is still the money, brothers and sisters. That was still what was offered, guaranteed to these particular fighters that were in the example that I showed and played for you guys earlier. This is the type of levels of money that these credible fighters were given. Many of them got less than $3 fucking million. Notable names. And here is DHP with an offer of $3 million plus on the table for these fucking chumps. And they got the nerve to toot their nose up, brothers and sisters. Money that heavyweight champion fights, championship fights, didn't even get. You get me? Offered to challengers. And sometimes even champions, as we shown in the example with Usyk. It's crazy work, brothers and sisters. As far as I know, at this particular point, you know, as far as the ducking with the Catterall and the Paro, you know, as far as I know right now, you know, it has not been clarified if I know that there was a little, what's the name that went on? Actually, I do have a receipt for the brothers and sisters. Look how ridiculous this is. Take a look at your screen, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? So, Rick Glazier, Dick Glazer, as I call him, came out on Twitter a few days ago, right? And said some ridiculous, crazy-ass glazing shit, as one would expect from a Glazer, okay? This is what he said on your screen. Take a look really quickly, ladies and gentlemen. He says, some call themselves fighters. Some that call themselves fighters need to take serious lessons from Liam Paro, the Aussie. Just won the IBF World Welterweight champ, right? And now looks like he's coming to America for a unification fight with the WBO, basically, with Devin, WBO welterweight champion Devin. And he's gloating about how, fighters need to take note. Look at William Paro. He's so brave. You know, he just won his strap and now he's challenging Devin, right? Only, like I said, the negotiation had just begun with the young King Devin before immediately basically going to, I don't know, the fucking dust, I guess, because the negotiations started to crumble because of Paro trying to outprice himself. And as a result of that, Dick Glazer had to rescind and retract the glazing that he put out for Liam Paro following the news that he was trying to crazily and outlandishly and bogusly outprice himself. And this is what Glazer had to say following up with that. He says, Liam Paro didn't want to challenge himself after all. He wanted to break the bank, and he overpriced his importance to fight Devin. Right? So this is what he had to come out and admit after finding out that this motherfucker was throwing crazy amounts of money out there, whatever that they were, right? But obviously it was far and well beyond the $3 million substantial amount of money that was on the table from Devin. Outpriced himself within, it seems like, seconds of negotiating with Devin. Barely 48 hours into negotiating with DHP, this nigga is outpricing himself in effort to avoid work. What is going on here? And here's another receipt of the young king confirming that. Young King says, Rick, these are facts. So that Liam Paro absolutely outpriced himself, walked in there thinking that for some reason, after never having made above $350,000, $400,000, that somehow $3 million he could wipe the walls with. Make this make sense, brothers and sisters. Make it make sense. It cannot be made to make sense to any logical thinking person. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So at this particular point, I don't know if that's totally off the table as far as the Paro fight is concerned for Devin, right? We know that he outpriced himself, but I don't know if Team Paro, intends to, wake the fuck up and take the money that's on the table. I don't know. I guess that may be still a possibility. Who knows, right? As far as I know, at this point, also the Catterall talks are still ongoing, right? I haven't heard or seen the Young King or Bill say anything at this point, at least. As of yet, that would suggest otherwise, that it was not ongoing with their negotiations as far as Catterall. I'd like to believe that these men would come to, some senses about themselves, that they would come to a point of clarity about themselves, right? And motion to make the wise business move to accept this stunning amount of money that's on the table for them, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's just absolutely insidious. The thought that these men would even for a second, think that this is something to just mull over completely. The idea of such a crazy amount of money being put on the table for them is somehow, no good, right? But that they would absolutely take if it was being offered by somebody else not named Devin Haney, brothers and sisters. If he didn't toot his nose up at making $350K, $400K for motherfucking Crocker, why the fuck is it that he can toot his nose up at making $3 million against Devin, the biggest fight of his career? Okay? These fighters have real life legacy at their feet, ladies and gentlemen. Do these people know what it means to get in the ring with Devin? Do they really know? Do they know what it would mean if they were to be victorious against the Young King Devin? Do you know what that would mean, brothers and sisters? Do you know what it would mean for their viability and their credibility in boxing? They are not willing to bet on themselves. So all this warrior heart talk has absolutely been 1000% exposed and constantly and repeatedly exposed by DHP because of the lack of challenge that people want to take on the likes of him. He has exposed the lack of heart, the lack of the will to be challenged in these fucking fighters that are claiming to be Himothy. DHP is exposing that with the level of cowardice that we see following not only the biggest opportunities being put on the table, but the crazy amounts of money that's being put on the table to get in there and challenge themselves with the Young King. I mean, just think about it, brothers and sisters. Did Riri the racist not straight up and down cheat against Devin? Was he not caught red-handed on PEDs, brothers and sisters? That did not stop racist Riri from building a fan base, a support system, strictly off of him cheating Devin. This nigga got worldwide acclaim from all types of people, all types of glazers in the boxing world, simply because he cheated Devin Haney. This man has become a quote-unquote superstar. Superstar. Yes, I said that correctly. Because ain't nothing super about him, but there's plenty stupid. But that he has gained a level of visibility unparalleled prior to his cheating of Devin, brothers and sisters. And this nigga took performance-enhancing drugs in the fight against Devin. Imagine what would happen if someone were to defeat Devin outrightly and uprightly, as far as a Paro or a Catterall or whoever, ADD Davis or a hot girl, Summer Steven, etc. and so forth, brothers and sisters, if they did it on the up and up. Do you know what that would mean for their stock? They would undoubtedly be exalted in boxing. They would be heralded as the greatest thing smoking in all of boxing, as a matter of fact. And that goes for any opponent that the Young King faces, ladies and gentlemen. If they take the Young King's crown, they will be exalted. But instead of these fucking suckers and chumps running toward that type of credence and accreditation via their defeat or the pursuit of defeating him, right? They are recoiling away from that, no matter how much amounts of money is on the table. And they are using the money as an alibi to avoid smoke. regardless of the substantial amounts that stand to be made by them, regardless of the massive opportunity in front of them to acclaim both the financial wealth and the legacy that would come from defeating him. These motherfuckers are using money as a basis for their avoidance rather than the basis of attaining the fucking prize that they're supposed to be fighting for as prize fighters. Make it make sense. There is no doubt that when you sign up to fight the young king, that you will be given the most substantial opportunity payday of your lifetime and the biggest platform to shine in your career. What else can explain this constant refraining from the prize, brothers and sisters, particularly and specifically when it comes to Devin Haney? What can explain that other than the fact and the reality that these fucking suckers are scared to death, are afraid to be challenged by the best in the sport? What else can explain the behavior? Nothing else, ladies and gentlemen. Because it's not the money, it's on the table. It's not the aspect of location, because the young king said the earth is our turf. What is it then? Other than that these men are afraid of being challenged by the best that the sport has to offer right now. One of the best fighters in the sport right now. They don't want to be tested on the elite level. And these people are trying to buy their way into comfort. Within this idea that, within knowing that they'll lose or believing that they'll lose, their lack of confidence has to be placated to. Right? So I'm not confident to fight you, so you have to placate and assuage my insecurities by giving me surplus amounts of money, ridiculous amounts of money, so that I can feel comforted by the idea that I may just very well lose to this champion. So pay me good for the loss in this L and this ass whooping that I know is on the horizon for me when I sign my name on this goddamn contract. Do you get what I'm saying? Absolutely crazy work, brothers and sisters. Crazy, crazy, crazy work. Let me check in. Let me get this off the screen really quickly. Let me check in with the good people. See what your thoughts are. Oh, I think I got some more super chats. Hold on. Okay. I got the King Freedom earlier. I got the King Muktube earlier. Salute to the beautiful brothers who showed love. Who else we got up in here? Salute to the King J Pitt in the super chat with some love and some support for the channel. Thank you so much, King. I appreciate you. He says, salute, Queen. These people are so scared of Devin. They're asking, why won't he fight Boots Ennis? Listen, Boots is always the safety net for these people in their minds, right? It's always the point of evasion within their conversation to deflect from why it is that their favorites, are avoiding Devin, so that they quickly revert to Boots Ennis and throw him into the equation, as if Devin wasn't already gunning for Boots Ennis last year, as if Devin did not put an offer out to fight Boots as his first entrance into the welterweight division. He wanted Boots. He fell upon the idea of fighting Brian Norman, right? But he was gunning for Boots. That was the first option for him. Boots. He wanted Boots first. Okay? After Boots, motion to go up to 154, right? He created his hit list. That still included Boots, by the way, right? But he created a hit list of all the other names that he was interested in. Went down the hit list. All of these niggas are ducking and evading. And like we always say time and time again, right? Brian Norman was the only one among the hit list at the time that said, yes, I will fight you. And so that, we got that wonderful fight last November, right? But you can't be throwing Boots up in here as if Devin wasn't motherfucking on this nigga's helmet. Devin wanted Boots first. He wanted him as his first welterweight fight. And Boots had other plans. He moved out of the division. Immediately on the heels, off the back of Devin's entrance, Boots exited the welterweight division, brothers and sisters. So, these people out here, and that fight is on the horizon as well. right? I have it in my mind, and I think that I heard Bill on Champside reference that. That's definitely still a fight that they are absolutely satiated by, right? They love the idea of fighting Boots Ennis. I think Young King wants to attain undisputed, right? And they are watching Boots and at what he does. He is now unified at 154, and they think that it would be great for him to be in pursuit of undisputed at 54, and for Devin to be en route to undisputed at 47, and that they can both meet, which is a fantastic idea, right? Undisputed versus undisputed. So it's still on the horizon. Devin does not fear Boots, but people think that they could just throw that man's name out there, as if that's supposed to deter or justify something. It's weird. Salute to the King J Pitt again. I appreciate your support. We got the Face God up in the building showing some love. Thank you so much for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. He says, respect the work. Boxing needs real journalism. I appreciate that, King. That definitely brought a smile to my face. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. And we also have the King Stylin in the building. Salute to the King Stylin. Lovely to see you again. He says, so many ducks for Devin. It should be called Pond Haney. Yeah, facts, right? He says, salute to the beautiful queen, sugar-free, infinite blessings to you. Thank you so much, King, for your contribution and those wonderful words. And you're absolutely right. It should be called Pond Haney, right? So many ducks fucking floating around up in here. It's ridiculous, y'all. It's motherfucking duck season. We're going to have to go hunting. We can eat good off all of these ducks that we see out here quacking all over the goddamn place so plentifully. Ain't it ridiculous? Ain't it ridiculous, beautiful people? Crazy work. Salute to the King Powerhouse. I see you. The King Jib, what did you say, King? He says, Devin is the big goose to these ducks. Absolutely. 1,000%. 1,000%. Salute to the King Snacks in the building. I see you. Blessings to you, King. TZ in the building. Salute to the King TZ. He says, some black people still support Riri too much. Child, don't even get me started. Don't even get me started, King TZ. Okay. Oh my goodness, we got the King Snoop up in here. Salute to the King Snoop. Infinite blessings. He says they all on PEDs and scared to test. Absolutely, I have no doubt about it. I trust nobody in the sport of boxing after what we witnessed, right? Not to mention, of course, the long history of counterfeit practices within the sport. But definitely as far as DHP is concerned, I trust no one. Absolutely no one. Salute to the King Joseph Townsend in the building. Big blessings to you, King. Lovely to see you. He says, salute, Queen. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you very, very much. We got the King Big Billow up in here. Salute to the King. I don't think I saw you earlier. He says, my honest opinion is Turkey / Zuffa / Hearn / Dazen / Bob / Top Rank. And whoever is running the PPC right now, okay, in cahoots to blackball and freeze Devin out. Absolutely. Absolutely. And that really is the cornerstone, the heart of, the discussion today, right? Which is why I really wanted to clarify and substantiate, the fact that what DHP has to go through and deal with is totally and absolutely unique to them. These experiences, the expressions of evasion and the outright blatant spineless ducking is unique to this man. Its effect is so unique, right? And we do not see offshoots of this particular level of ducking in these ways more than we see it exemplified and exhibited within the path of DHP, how they have to deal with it. Just look at the list of fighters, brothers and sisters. Racist Riri ducked the hell out of Devin Haney. Okay, absolutely outrightly avoided. Rolly Romero ducked blatantly, right? And these are all back-to-back occurrences, ladies and gentlemen, right? Then we had ADD goddamn Davis. He could have fought Devin at the start of the year, ladies and gentlemen, right? He could have fought the Young King in February instead of Jermaine Ortiz. He opted out of that, right? And then we had another ducking, of course, with the fight that should have been taking place on October 3rd coming up. Duck that. Then we got Hot Girl Summer Snatchway Stevenson out here playing all types of ridiculous, sassy-ass games. Okay? We could just run the gamut on the duck. Back-to-back, repetitive, consistent, continuous ducking ladies and gentlemen. A pattern. Okay? And yes, it is an attempt to freeze them out. And we heard Snatchway Stevenson get up on that podcast of that dude, right? Talk about, oh, well, what you going to do now? Because now nobody's on the table for you. I mean, he was gascinating, brothers and sisters. He was outrightly bragging about Devin supposedly not having any options. Look at me. I'm off the table. You can't fight me. Look, Key is off the table. You can't fight him. Rolly's out of the way. You can't fight him. I mean, he was happy about it. He was happy to get on camera and say the options that are not on the table for Devin as far as opponents go. Okay? And then now we see somebody that was, the most viable and the most intelligent option for him to take, which is Liam Paro as the IBF strap holder, right? Fellow champion. And this motherfucker walks in, just motherfucking couldn't afford a goddamn Happy Meal the other day, is stepping in front of the young king like, oh, give me this amount of money. Give me this amount of money. The fuck? Nigga, you couldn't even afford your fucking chicken nuggets last week. The fuck you talk about give you this or that amount of goddamn millions? It's just absolutely ridiculous on every level, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely ridiculous. And these people are supposed to be so-called prize fighters. Meanwhile, they are denying the prize, averting the very bag that they say that they fight for, averting the very legacy that they say that they are on a quest for, all because Devin Haney is in front of them. These men have no lamentations, as far as I know, that were had for any other opponent that they faced. They were happy taking their 350K, they 500K, right? Their million here and there. But are so quick to deny $3 million plus simply because it is Devin Haney on the other end of that fucking barrel. Right? Point in the barrel. It's crazy. And these people have no heart, and that's why I say they have been absolutely and completely exposed, inadvertently, by DHP. It's ridiculous, the levels of cowardice out here. We need to pay very close attention to that. That this is absolute cowardice in motion, brothers and sisters. Do not have these people, oh, they're not scared. I heard so many people, oh, this person's not scared. Keyshawn's not scared. Shakur's not scared. Really? Why the fuck they not taking the most substantial, life-changing opportunity that's presented to them then? You tell me. That's why they try to, gaslight you with terms like, oh, knowing one's worth, so forth, etc., or lowball, or all of these mystifying words. To keep you from looking at things clearly. What happened to betting on oneself? Right? They are so quick to use that term. When it came to Devin, oh, Devin should make the concessions. Devin should go to Australia and fight for way less money 2 times. Devin should, fight, right off of the, assumption that his father wasn't even going to be able to join him in Australia, so forth, etc. Devin got to make the concessions for this. Devin got to make the concessions for that. Devin got to vacate his title. Devin got to drop down to whatever weight. Devin got to do this, that, and the third. Everything else, nobody got to do a motherfucking thing. Meanwhile, Devin's not even putting any type of ridiculous ass stipulations on the table. He is willing to pay you substantial amounts of money. He is willing to meet you there and give you the biggest payday and opportunity of your life. He is willing, to put his status on the line just so that he can challenge himself among the best and amass the titles that he wants to amass and the status and accreditation that he wants to amass. He is willing to put all of that on the line to fight you. And pay you on top of that. And give you the biggest stage to show up in the ring with him. But somehow these people can't find their fucking balls to do any goddamn thing. It's ridiculous. It's a disgusting climate right now. And I'm absolutely appalled and frustrated as a boxing fan, brothers and sisters. And I know my good people, can concur with that. Can definitely concur with that. It's crazy. The King Snack said, bonnet-wearing sissy boys out here. Disgusting behavior. Okay. A whole bunch of aunties are in these boxing streets. These are not prize fighters. These are fucking aunties. And I can't even say aunties, real talk. I don't know what these you definitely got the sassy ass and sissy ass part right. That's for sure. Okay. Crazy work, you guys. The King Jet, what did you say, King? He says the only thing Devin is asking for fighters is to take a drug testing. Yeah, take the drug test. Yeah. Right? You will definitely be paid. You ain't got to worry about that. You definitely going to be paid. right? You will definitely have an opportunity to operate and showcase your skills on the biggest stage in boxing. The biggest stage that boxing can provide to you, you will have that in addition to a crazy, crazy substantial payday, right? The only thing that he stipulates, of course, is the drug testing, right? Which is a no-brainer, okay? But that is his only stipulation, is that, of course, you test, thoroughly test, and that it could be accounted for, so forth, etc. Okay? But other than that, let's get up in here and do this. What else the fuck are we talking about, ladies and gentlemen? There's nothing else to say. Get this drug testing popping and meet me at the fucking center of the ring. What the fuck are we doing? It's so frustrating, you guys. But I guess I will end the discussion there. You know what I mean? I think I got the point across clearly, and I think that you guys divulged some wonderful points as well. Did I read this, Billo? Devin has the 147 smoke and Boots has the 154 smoke. They'll link up when it's time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better. Is the King Brambo up in here? He sure is. Salute to the King Brambo. Infinite blessings to you, King. Lovely to see you again. He says, oh boy, Miss Sugar-Free Mars is about to cook a Sunday feast. Child, we was definitely in the kitchen today. Lovely to see you. I'm appreciative of your presence in the building with the good family. My mama love, she says, absolute truth. More money is encouraged by their promoters and managers to offset the brand decline when they lose. Absolutely. Absolutely. Right? So that they are using it as a cushioning method. Okay, well, let me, come here and assuage all of my worries going into this fight with the likes of the young King Devin. Assuage me, quell my insecurities about getting in there and what may most likely be the outcome of this fight. So you got to pay me above and beyond anything that I've ever even seen so that I can get in the ring, so forth, etc. It really is a retirement package, if you will. It's a severance package that they are looking for, right? When it comes to fighting Devin, because they're not confident that they will be victorious, Mama Love, as you well know, as my good family well knows. Okay. I was just scrolling up to see. Yes, I think I pretty much got the consensus from the good family. Yeah, you guys, thank you so much for joining. You know what I mean? I thought that this discussion was definitely imperative. Also, I have to big up again the beautiful King BF as well, because like I said, I shared it on my page. I shared it on my social media. You know what I mean? Because it was such a paramount piece of information and research that he put into that video where he is divulging the fact that what Keyshawn got away with was the biggest duck in boxing history, and all the crazy fiction going around right now that's being pushed by these hater-ass platforms and just misinformed people as a whole. And I thought that his breakdown, showing you, the proof, of these numbers that were generated and allotted to these particular fighters, well-known, well-accredited fighters, and the type of money that they got in their purse bids, was an imperative piece of information to reiterate, right? He already iterated, and I needed to reiterate that because I never want anything to be lost in translation of what's going on right now. So many people are so, heightened by or galvanized by misinformation and gossip and catchy headlines and, I don't know, maybe the cadence of the way these people talk that they follow, that they are willingly, more liable to soak up what they say, even if it's no truth attached to it whatsoever. But that we have to make sure as a conscious boxing community, a black boxing community, where our fighters rule within the sport, that we don't allow for any mystification of, the real details and the real information. And allow that would allow for the fights that we really care about being blocked from being materialized. That's a problem for me. You know what I mean? And I see too many avenues being created that's pushing for the non-materialization of beautiful, significant fights. And there's no better example to use currently in this sport than looking at the young King in his position right now and on his journey, because there is an absolute plot, as one of the good brothers said earlier, to shut Devin out completely. And that was the basis of the discussion today, of how they are now currently using the excuse of money, the very thing that is the prize. They're using the prize to now avert, collision and competition with Devin, which is absolutely crazy. And that's despite all of the money, all of the excuses to complain about money is out of there, because these are crazy amounts of money that are being offered to these people. More than some really accredited, stand-up fighters have ever seen or ever gotten at particular moments in their career after having achieved significant things. We're being given less money than, for example, was offered to ADD Davis. It's just ridiculous. And what's on the table for somebody like a Liam Paro? The $3 million's on the table for the Jack Catterall, so forth, etc. So the avoidance is absolutely blatant, and DHP is exposing that, and unintentionally, right? But we see an absolute exposure, on the scene right now with the cowardice and how deep the cowardice goes in boxing. Okay, so on that note, beautiful sister, did I see my beautiful sister? My beautiful Mama Love, rather. Oh, yes, I got it, Mama Love. Thank you so much for the Cash App. I see the text here. Thank you so much, Mama Love. I appreciate you big. Always with the love and the support, Mama Love. Thank you so much. I really, really, really appreciate you, Mama Love. Thank you for that support. And thank you to all the beautiful brothers who showed love to me earlier. Did I get another one? Hold on, you guys. Hold on. I think I see. Yes, I did get another super chat. Salute to the King Detroit. Heavy bags in the building with some support for the channel. He says, oops, excuse me, you guys. I live in the noisiest city in the world, so excuse that noise that you heard just now. Salute to the King Detroit. He says, Queen, I'm a big Dev fan, but I think the Boots fight is too early. That hasn't built up. Shakur needs to strap his... Right. Okay. Yeah, Shakur definitely needs to find, some testicular fortitude, just in general, right? So I agree with you there. As far as it being too early for Devin to fight Boots, I think that's an interesting perspective, and I actually hear that quite often. In the social media streets, I hear people say, well, don't go after Boots. You know what I'm saying? Or you asking for Devin to be annihilated, so forth and so on when it comes to Boots. I don't think it's too early for the young King DHP. If he wants it, I want it, that much more for him, right? And like I said, we saw him gunning for Boots as his first fight at welterweight. That didn't materialize, but he was definitely 10 toes trying to get it. Absolutely. And that alone is all I need for me to support the young King, right? The outcome is what it will be. Nobody can control that but the moment in and of itself, right? But the aspiration for that is one of the reasons why I'm so staunchly a supporter of the young King, because he is willing to go there, right? So that Devin is showing you that in his first fight at welterweight, he is gunning for the king of the welterweight division, okay? And now we got people looking like Keyshawn Davis. We got people looking like Shakur Stevenson. And we got new people looking like Liam Paro and Jack Catterall, who are making excuses to not fight the best in the welterweight division. Do you see the difference? That's what I'm juxtaposing for you. That's the compare and contrast that we're doing. So that the comparison with Boots says everything you need to know about Devin. Whether he will win against somebody like Boots or not is to be determined, okay? But that does not stop him from wanting to vie and create the best, vie for and create the best opportunities for him to showcase his skill and to prove and claim his supremacy. That's what we need more of. That's what we need more of. Okay? So salute to the good family, and definitely salute to the King Detroit. Thank you so much again for your contribution to the channel. Definitely respect your opinion. Thank you for sharing that with the good family, right? And then I'm sure that there's plenty of family up in here who may concur with that. And plenty of people just in boxing in general, like I said, who concur with that I've come across, at least across social media, who have that same perspective. And that's why it's a beautiful fight as well. That's why I can't wait to see it when it does materialize, right? Whether it were now or whenever, I'm 10 toes with it. It's a beautiful fight for the sport, and I think it's definitely going to save the future of the sport for sure. Beautiful fight, Young King versus Boots. No matter who wins, it's going to be a very satisfying, beautiful fight between two beautiful brothers. On that note, good family, thank you so much for rocking with me, you guys. I'm so appreciative of the beautiful minds that come into the space. I'm definitely appreciative of your energy, of your insight, of your opinions, even if they vary. I like the variance. Okay, I like the diversity of the good family here. So definitely know that I'm thankful for you. And I cannot wait to see you on the next one, good people. Definitely have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a beautiful, prosperous week ahead, right? Sending you infinite blessings, infinite peace and love. I will definitely catch you guys on the next one, okay? Infinite love to you. Peace.